Hello and welcome to the Film Pulse Podcast. This is episode number 373. My name's Adam Patterson. With me today, we've got Kevin Rakestraw. Hey, Kevin.
Hey, what's up?
Not a whole lot. I'm still getting moved in, still unpacking and getting organized and all that stuff. My room is still sounding very echoey, and I apologize for that. But hopefully soon I'll get some rugs. Looking at rugs right now.
Ooh,
yeah.
nice.
Got some soundproofing panels that I ordered, some rugs, so...
Bring that room together.
Yeah, getting the office set up, you know. This week on the show, we'll be taking a look at Dave Franco's directorial debut, The Rental. We'll also be going over some we're watching on the watch list and new releases on VOD and Blu-ray. Thank you so much for joining us this week. Please remember to review us on iTunes if you get a moment. That would be super helpful. Don't really have any housekeeping bits to go over, so I think that we can just dive straight in to The Rental.
Let's get it. Let's do it.
Two couples rent a vacation home for what should be a celebratory weekend getaway. All right.
Mm-hmm.
We got Dan Stevens in there. We got Alison Brie, Sheila Vand, Jeremy Allen White, and Toby Huss. Love me some Toby Huss.
Yeah, that's a solid cast right there.
Very solid cast. Very solid cast of young, great talent. Not a single person in that cast I have a problem with. I like them all. I think they're all great.
Same here. Same here.
Kevin, we'll start with you. What'd you think of The Rental?
The Rental, completely serviceable.
Yeah.
I mean, it is what it is. It does its job. You know, I wish there was a little bit more to it. It really feels like Dave Franco, along with Joe Swanberg, who co-wrote the screenplay with him.
And by the
like,
way, just sorry to interrupt you for 1 second. The Joe Swanberg part, boy, does it show. Like, this feels like such a Joe Swanberg movie to me.
Yeah, it does. But I like outside of the original idea, like the entire like framework of The Rental, which is essentially just saying like, hey, Airbnbs, it's kind of creepy, right? Like, why are we so trusting? Like, that's it. There's really nothing else to it. And like the added, like the other side of it, the relationship stuff with these two couples, and there being some secrets kept or whatever. Like, I don't know what the intent was there. Like, if that was supposed to be drawn out a little bit more, or what. But like, you know, right off the bat.
Opening scene, like the very first scene,
mm-hmm.
when it's the two of them together in that office, like it's like okay,
oh, they're the couple.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean it's very very obvious where this is going to go and how it's all going to play out. And at the end of the day, yeah, it plays with themes of trust and all of that stuff. And there may be some also. Maybe some political leanings to it as well, with the whole like the fact that Toby Huss seemed to be portraying this kind of racist, like conservative dude, but that was very, very, very minimal as well. Yeah. And yeah, like we've just seen this. This is something that we've seen before. Like Airbnbs are not. Maybe you should be a little concerned about Airbnbs. Like, it is a weird concept to think about that people can just rent their homes to other people for a short amount of time. You know what I mean? Like, it's just kind of weird to begin with.
Yeah, and it feels like a lot of movies, or like a lot of elements of other movies that we've seen just kind of compiled into this one. Because like right off the bat. And for the life of me, I'm like, I tried finding out what the movie's called, and I can't. But we both saw it. It was a Netflix movie where they had to show a house, and that was like the whole thing. It's like, you know, that's kind of weird that you leave, you let all these people come through your home.
Was it called Open House?
And then, yeah, okay, there you go.
I'm pretty sure that's the one.
Yeah, this movie reminded me of that. This one's obviously a little bit better.
Yeah.
Um, but it also, for whatever reason, it kind of reminded me of Creep a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. A
It,
little
it
bit of
just
that.
it just reminded me of like a lot of movies.
And at the end of the day, it's a slasher movie. It's a pretty standard slasher movie that is of the slow burn variety. You don't really get there's nothing really creepy that happens until like 3/4 in, and
Yeah,
there's like nothing serious happens till like the very end. So I felt like it was one of those movies where like I thought the writing was good. I thought the script was fine, but at the end of the day, I'm just like, what's the point of this? Like, what is
yeah,
this? What is this bringing to the table that hasn't already been done multiple times before? Like, again, like you said, it's serviceable.
yeah. I mean, it's not. I didn't hate it. I definitely didn't hate it while I was watching it, and it kept me fairly entertained throughout. But and that's kind of how the slow burn works, is that it always keeps me intrigued up until a certain point, when it finally culminates into something. And then that's the only time where it was just kind of like, oh, that's it. That's all we're doing.
Yeah, I didn't think
Okay.
the payoff was very satisfying. Like when there's like certain revelations that happen in throughout, and you're just like, oh, okay. Like like just when my interest is waning a little bit, they throw something in that sort of picks me back up, and I'm just like, okay, this is all right. Where are we going with this? But then at the end, it's just like it's pretty much exactly what you would expect. Like there's no real big twists or huge revelations that like no big bomb drops or anything like that. And the way that it ends up is exactly how you expect it to.
Yeah. Yeah. Which again, it brings me back to it. It feels like Franco and Swanberg have an idea. And it's a decent idea. But for me, it just didn't feel like they really built anything off of that. Like they just kind of found some way to get from like a point A to a point B, and it's okay. Like it's not that great. I mean, the whole relationship drama infidelity thing is, I mean, it's pretty weak until you get up to that culminating final act, and again, it didn't really work that well for me.
Yeah, I guess I was just kind of hoping for more in general. Just maybe a bigger like denouement at the end or something that
Yeah, because even
really
that felt a little.
I guess I just was hoping for more. Now, looking at this as a debut from Dave Franco, I like Dave Franco as an actor, and I think that he has promise. I think he shows promise as a director. I think that this was well directed. I just think that the content, the material, just wasn't super strong. But
Yeah,
with as far as direction goes, I think it was solid. Like I want to see. I'd be interested to see more movies directed by him. And as far as debuts go, it's not bad.
yeah. It's been just pretty aggressively mediocre to me.
Yeah, aggressively
I
mediocre.
mean,
If like I wouldn't be surprised if this was a Netflix movie. It's not, but
yeah, yeah.
it seems like Netflix caliber.
Yeah, it feels like it would be right at home on there.
Yeah,
Because I also feel like you could have told me anyone directed this. Like you could just made up a name, completely fabricated a name. I would just be like, oh, okay. Which is the weird thing, because I was thinking about Dave Franco, right? Because of the movie being directed by him and all. And my initial thought right off the bat was like, I don't like Dave Franco. And then I had to explore that a little bit. I was like, okay, Kevin, why don't you like Dave Franco? And I was like, I'm thinking, I don't like him as an actor. And then I was trying to like come up with examples, right? Because you got to be able to back up your claims. So I'm like, what movie did I see Dave Franco in that I was like, don't like it? And I, for the life of me, over the course of 3 days, could not think of a single Dave Franco movie. I couldn't think of anything I've seen him in.
you didn't see the 21 Jump Street? movies? 21 Jump Street? 22 Jump Street?
Yeah, but I don't remember him in it.
What about Neighbors? He had a pretty prominent
No,
role in
didn't.
Neighbors.
I didn't see that. Yeah, honestly, I don't know if I've really seen him in anything outside
Okay.
of the Jump Street movies.
What
But
what about If Beale Street Could Talk? You saw that, didn't you?
oh yeah, but he didn't do anything in that.
He had a really good role in that. I mean,
He was
he was
just Dave Franco. He was just Dave Franco sitting in an empty loft,
yeah, but I thought he did
being
a good
like,
job.
"Yeah, I'll rent this house to you." And they're like, "Oh, nice."
I thought he was good in that. Anyway, yeah, unfortunately, it's a bit of a meh for me, despite the strong cast of people who I want to see in more roles, especially Jeremy. Really, I could say it about all of them, but Jeremy Allen White, I just want to see him in more stuff post Shameless. Like I want him to break out from his role as Lip in Shameless and start doing more movies and stuff.
Yeah.
And of course, Toby Huss. I want to see him in everything.
Toby,
I think
Toby Huss.
he just instantly makes everything so much better.
He does. He has that ability. He just shows up and you're like, yes, Toby's here. Great.
Toby's here. Hey, everybody. Let's give this a score. I'm pretty much right down the middle on this one. I'm going to say a 5 out of 10.
Yeah, I give it like a 4.5, 5.
The rental is on VOD right now, so check it out if you're looking for a fairly banal horror thriller. If you're in the market.
I want to beat that person. That's what they're really in the mood for right now.
I
I really do for banal, like aggressively mediocre.
I will say
non-thriller thriller.
Like if you're a huge Joe Swanberg fan, this has a lot of Swanberg DNA in it, so you might be into that.
Yeah.
Let's move on and talk about someone watching. I've been continuing my Godzilla deep dive this week. I caught up with I don't know which one I mentioned last week. I know I mentioned the first two, but I don't know if I mentioned King Kong versus Godzilla, which is the third one. So I saw that one. I saw Ghidorah, the three-headed monster. I saw Invasion of Astro Monster. I saw Mothra versus Godzilla. They're all fine. I don't have too much to say about any one of them. King Kong versus Godzilla was all right. The weird thing about this one is that King Kong's the suit looks horrendous. Like it doesn't even look close to King Kong, and it's just funny because it's just a dude in a monkey suit, in a gorilla suit. So that one was a little silly. Mothra versus Godzilla is a good one because this is the one that I believe it's the one that sort of introduces that iconic score, that like theme song. And it's also the last one where Godzilla is just a straight up bad guy. Mothra is good. Mothra's always been good, and Mothra fights Godzilla in this one, and this is the last one where Godzilla's bad. And it's also the introduction of like a continuity with the movies. From this point on, all of the movies are sort of linked together. For instance, in Ghidorah, the three-headed monster, which is the next one, you have some of the same characters in it, and like Mothra shows up, and it's the same form of Mothra that was in the last one, so they start introducing a continuity there. Ghidorah is really good too. Invasion of the Astro Monster is a little bit all over the place. It involves these like aliens from this place called Planet X, but they're like humanoid, and it's fine, I guess. It's a little bit more silly than the other ones, but overall, so far, I've really been enjoying my dive into Godzilla, and I look forward to continuing that.
Now, my question for you, since you've kind of watched these relatively in a short span of time, are you able to differentiate them in your memory?
As of right now, yes. However, I strongly believe, as I continue, they'll start to blur. They're all going to start to blur together. Because again, there's over 30 of them. So they're eventually going to start getting mashed together.
Yeah, I can see that. I could definitely see that happening. Well, that's good. Hold on to that while you can.
Mm-hmm.
I watched Witchhammer from 1970. This is a Czechoslovakian film directed by Otakar Savra. This is on Amazon Prime. So this is based on the Northern Moravia witch trials from the 1670s. Okay. Now, the interesting thing about this movie is like the text of the court hearings are taken from authentic court recordings of the Inquisition trials that took place between 1678 and 1695. So anytime they're doing like the interrogations, it's actually like all the dialogues based on authentic court recordings from that time.
That's really interesting.
Yeah. So this is, I mean, it's a black and white film. It's pretty standard. There's not a whole lot of creativity going on filmmaking wise. The only thing is like kind of showing like the progression of it's more focused on the interrogation part of it and like the effect that has on the town. And then there's kind of show the progression, like the first set of interrogations. Yes, they walk the witches up to the stakes and they burn them and everything. But from there forward, it's just a quick cut to like the smoldering posts with the chains on it, and they grow. Like it's 3, and then the next time you see it, it's like 7, and it's just, all this ash and smoke, but you don't see any bodies or anything. It just kind of shows you days after or hours after they executed these people. And then it just grows, like 20 posts and then 25 posts. And like this guy, the villain of this movie he's just a rundown dude who owns an inn with his buddy. They're just drunks. Like he used to do Inquisition stuff, and they decide like, oh, we gotta bring this guy in to take care of things. So he immediately realizes that this is the perfect opportunity for him and his buddy. So the only thing that they do is they first go through and investigate everyone's finances, because they're going to confiscate all of the finances for themselves. So essentially, that's all it is. He just picks people that have money, and he's like, "Yeah, you're a witch," and then he just tortures them, and he's like, "Isn't so and so a witch?" And this person, this person, this person. Of course, they torture him until the woman says, "Yes, they're witches too," and then he rounds them up, and then anyone that's like, "Hey, this is kind of getting out of hand," he's like, "Whoa. Why are you defending witches? They're in league with the devil. You must be in league with the devil too." So he ends up just like wiping out like the entire town, just everyone. Like even people from the church, like that's a big thing, is like the one deacon who's like a man of like reason and very scholarly, and they kind of like button heads, and then he just decides, you know what, you're in league with the devil too, and they execute him too. Yeah, it's such an infuriating watch. Made so even more so by the fact that from the outset they're like, okay, this is just all like taken from authentic records. So this is like how it played out. Like they're not exaggerating. So it's definitely worth a look if if you're into the history of like witch trials and stuff. It's definitely a good one.
I saw Special Actors. This is directed by Shinichiro Ueda. This is the same guy who did One Cut of the Dead, which was a movie that came out, had a really weird release over here in the US. Like it played a lot of festivals, and then it was like not available for a really long time, and then it came out on Shudder. But at any rate, I loved that movie, and this is his follow-up, and it's a comedy about this guy who he has a lot of issues with anxiety, and anytime that he gets confronted, he faints. So anytime anybody confronts him about anything, he faints. But the thing is, he wants to be an actor. So in auditions and stuff, when he's having dialogues with other actors, a lot of times it'll be like arguments or whatever, and he'll just faint during the audition. So it's a big problem for him, but he ends up stumbling onto his brother, his younger brother, and his brother works for this company who they're called special actors, and they get hired to do things like cry at funerals or laugh at movie premieres or trick people into breaking up with their boyfriends or girlfriends and stuff like that. It's actually a real thing. And
yeah, there's a lot of movies like with that premise.
Yeah,
He's coming out of Japan.
Yeah, because it's a very strange profession. It's a strange occupation. So
Yeah.
the hook with this one though is, so the guy gets involved with them, and it turns out that he's like really good at it, and it's helping him overcome his anxiety and stuff. And they get hired to do this really big job where this young woman comes up to them and says that her sister has been essentially brainwashed by a cult. So they have to infiltrate this cult and try to rescue the sister. And it plays out sort of like a heist film, but man, it's fun. It's really good. I had a blast with this movie. We have a review for this up on the site, and Chris wrote a review. This played at Japan Cuts, which is currently happening. I think it's still happening as of right now. Which is online, so anybody can enjoy Japan Cuts, which is typically a New York Film Festival. So definitely check out Special Actors.
Okay, I will. Will do.
I think you'll like it. You'll definitely like it.
It definitely sounds intriguing. Sounds like it could be a good time.
Yeah, it's light. It's very light. It's nothing like heavy about it. It's just goofy and fun.
Hey, perfect segue for me. Thank you. The assist. I saw The Cheap Detective from 1978, directed by Robert Moore, also on Amazon Prime. This is a farce. It's a goof spoof.
Yes.
Fucking goof spoof, buddy, of detective movies. And it's Peter Falk doing a goof spoof.
Love it.
Peter Falk.
Love it.
He plays the detective. And this takes place in, I think, like the 30s, San Francisco in the 30s. But the weird thing about this movie is this is written by Neil Simon. And it's a two-parter goof spoof, kind of like blended together. And the one hand is obviously the detective story and everything that comes with that. And Peter Falk kind of, playing it up. And he's an absolute delight to watch, as you can imagine. It's Peter Falk. I mean, he's such an amazing talent when it comes to comedic timing and line delivery. But the other goof spoof part of it is like they're goofing Casablanca. And so it's like those two movies put together. And when it's operating in the detective part of it, it's great. It's highly enjoyable, very entertaining. And you get, it's dominated by Peter Falk. It's fantastic. Well, it's not the light. When it's doing the Casablanca stuff, I don't know. It's just really weird to be like, okay, we're gonna goof spoof the entire genre of movie, and then we're also just gonna goof one specific movie. And then somehow force them together. We're gonna marry them, and it's weird. So it's kind of for me, it was very uneven. Where I would have these like highs of like, I love this. This is great. Peter Falk, look at him, man. This is fantastic. He's doing his thing. And then just, a couple of seconds later and being like, what the fuck is this? Why am I watching? What? Because as you can imagine, it's the 70s. Some of the comedy is really outdated.
Mm-hmm.
Some of it, a decent portion of it's really dumb, but a good chunk of the dumb stuff works. And then, of course, the other stuff is just like, wow, this is really dumb. Wow. It's not working for me. But when Peter Falk's doing the dumb stuff, it's great.
Nice.
And it's just, and this is what happened to me, right? I needed to watch a movie. I was like, I don't know what the fuck I want to watch. And then it hit me. I'm like, I want to watch Peter Falk, really, to be honest. I just want to watch Peter Falk in something I haven't seen him in before. And so if that's you, if you're looking for Peter Falk in a comedy, this isn't going to disappoint. I can guarantee it. You're going to get what you want. Peter Falk's going to give you what you want.
All right, I'm going to add this to my list. And this is on Amazon Prime, so you can check it out there.
Mm-hmm.
The Cheap Detective. I saw a movie called The Pool. This is on Shudder. It's an Indonesian horror film. A little bit of a containment thriller and a creature feature. Throw it into one. About a guy who he's like a production. He's like an art department guy on I think it's like I don't know if it's like a music video or a commercial or short film or it's something. He's doing a shoot, and the shoot takes place in this giant pool outside. And the shoot finishes, he's wrapping up, last day, everybody leaves. He's just chilling out by the pool for a little bit longer before he leaves. He falls asleep on a raft. And somebody pulls the plug on the pool so it starts to drain. And when he wakes up, he's like way, way down. Now, there's still water left in the pool, but he's stuck down there. There's no ladder, so he can't get out. It's a 6-meter deep pool. And he ends up hurting himself, and his girlfriend comes, and she doesn't realize that the pool is almost empty at this point. What does she do? She goes up on the diving board. And he tries to warn her. She slips, falls, hits her head, ends up in the pool with him.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Come on, guys.
Yeah. Let's up the ante a little bit. A crocodile's on the loose. Giant croc. Guess what? That crocodile gets in the pool. So now they're stuck in a 6-meter deep deserted pool with a giant crocodile. And it just gets worse and worse and worse for them. That's just scratching the surface of the shit show that this guy has to go through. Now, it's ridiculous. It is utterly ridiculous. The CG on the crocodile is horrendous. It's very bad. But and at first, when I first saw it, I was like, oh, I don't know if I'm about to get past this. Like, it's that bad. Fortunately, I was. But it's really promising at first, but unfortunately there's like a few things that happen. First of all, like some of the stuff that happens, you're just like, no way. There's like no way this would happen. It's utterly unbelievable in every regard. And there's something really shitty that happens towards the end. I will say it does involve a dog. And what they do is, it doesn't make sense, but it's also like, it just feels so mean-spirited and unnecessary. And that completely lost it for me. But up until the very end, I thought it was pretty fun.
I got a question, logistics wise here. Like, when the croc gets in the pool, how much water is it? Like, is there enough water that it?
No, there's no water.
It like falls?
Yes,
it falls into a pool.
Yeah, it falls in. So basically, the guy's dog is also tied up outside of the pool, and the dog, when the dog sees the croc, the dog barks, and it like kind of startles the croc, and there's like these like poles, these like pipes, and the croc is sort of standing on these pipes, and it knocks the pipes into the pool with the croc.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it doesn't crawl in.
A little cartoon.
Doesn't crawl in voluntarily. Yeah, it's
a slippery pipe action.
yeah. It kind of.
I can hear the music now.
It kind of is actually a bit cartoonish. Anyway,
does the croc get injured when it falls in the pool?
Does it what?
Does the croc get injured when it falls in the pool?
Nah. He's just
like, whatever. I'm in here now.
Yeah, she just kind of plops in there. Yeah, there's a lot more to it than that. Like you find out there's so many like twists and revelations and stuff. There's one really great twist that happens near the very end that I freaking loved, but by that point I was like, it was a little too much.
Is that the with the crocodile being diabetic?
No, the guy that is an interesting. So the guy is diabetic and he doesn't have his insulin. So there's like a whole scene with him trying to get his insulin shots. It's a very very harrowing scene. There's a lot of really tense moments for sure.
Well, I mean, I would hope so. Yeah, I mean, you would think that would be pretty easy with, someone being stuck in a pool with a crocodile.
Yeah, I mean, and the thing is, like, it's not just the crocodile. I mean, first of all, he's stuck down there for quite a while before the crocodile shows up. And even after the crocodile shows up, it pretty much just lays there on the other side of the pool and leaves him alone for the most part. He just has to, like, be aware of it, Like, that's probably how it would be in real life, It's like, as long as you don't mess with it, it's probably going to keep its distance.
Yeah. But at the same time, if that croc can't get out either,
right,
it's going to get hungry.
Exactly, and that's sort of what happens. And then there's more twists on top of that, like more layers on top of that complicate matters even more. Let's just say it's a mommy croc.
Oh shit!
So yeah, there's plenty of things. I mean, that's kind of the cool thing about it is like there's a lot more going on here than just the crocodile. Like there's the fact that they're stuck in this pit essentially for days and days and days.
Interesting.
I mean, like comparing this to Crawl, which was a movie that came out around the same time that this originally came out. Crawl is like infinitely better than this, but if this is still kind of a sillier version of that. I wish it didn't take itself so seriously. I think that's part of the problem. And the whole scene with the dog was unnecessary at best.
I only saw one other movie, and that was the short film, 24-minute film, one movie, Villa Empain from this year, directed by Katharina Kastner. And it's just a doc that like navigates the spaces of the museum, which is Villa Empain, which was built as like a public or private residency, and then got taken away. Then it became like a Soviet embassy. Then it became a TV studio, and then I guess it got like renovated, and now it's like an art museum, right, in Belgium. And it's just kind of camera in the different rooms, checking stuff out. It's mildly interesting because, I mean, for me, like, I'll probably never go to Belgium. I'll probably never go to this place. So it's nice to be inside of it and see stuff. I mean, it's a wonderful building. And the architecture is incredible. But at the same time, it just really felt like a high-end virtual tour. And that's about it. So, a little bit disappointed. To me, it just didn't feel like much more than that because there's really no dialogue. There's nothing. It's just, cut up. They're in this room and then the camera's in this room and then the camera's there's a giant swimming pool and a pergola that's like kind of like a horseshoe shape to the whole outside of the pool area, and the camera just kind of goes along, looks up, and like that's it. So at 24 minutes, it just seems like a bit much. If this was much shorter, maybe I would have been like, oh yeah, that was cool. Yeah, that was good stuff. But at 24 minutes, it's just like, okay, I've seen the museum now. Cool.
The last one that I'll mention is a documentary called Too Funny to Fail, The Life and Death of the Dana Carvey Show. This is a Hulu documentary, so you can check it out on Hulu. It's directed by Josh Greenbaum. I really enjoyed this. I found this documentary to be tremendously funny. Now, if you're maybe too young to remember or just didn't watch it, Dana Carvey had his own sketch show back in the 90s for a very short minute. It was on for, I think, 8 episodes. I think maybe 7 of them actually ran before it got canceled. But it is, so this documentary just sort of chronicles the how the show came to be, like how they created it, what happened, all of that stuff. And it interviews obviously Dana Carvey, but pretty much everybody who was involved in the show. This is where Steve Carell and Stephen Colbert got their start. They were at Second City in Chicago, and they both got pulled on to be writers and cast members of this show, so that's sort of how they got their big break. Robert Smigel was one of the showrunners, and obviously Robert Smigel's, he did a bunch of really great stuff before this, and he continued to do great things after this as well. And Louis C.K., but we won't really talk about him, but he was one of the head writers as well. And it's just a really, really funny, entertaining documentary. And if you're into like comedy and stuff, I would recommend it. I feel like this was a show that maybe it wasn't on the right network, and maybe it was a little bit too ahead of its time. But when you see sort of these more subversive sketch shows now, like what's the one on net? I Think You Should Leave. Is that the one on Netflix? Is that the name of it?
Yeah.
Like when you see something like that, I feel like that's like sort of in line with what the Dana Carvey show was. And I just don't think it was the right network for it, honestly. Because it was pretty funny, but it was just not the type of comedy that I think appealed to the Home Improvement crowd, which it aired after Home Improvement on ABC. I think that people were expecting, Church Lady and Garth, and this was a lot more abstract, a lot more subversive than those characters. It was more like a Kids in the Hall style, really. But I'd recommend checking it out. Too Funny to Fail. It's on Hulu. All right, let's take a look at what we have on VOD this week. On the 28th, we have Instaband. This is a unique documentary film about today's music artist and their hustle to try and achieve music stardom, armed with the social media and smartphone. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, there we go. Wonderful. We have Stockton on My Mind. This is on HBO. We have Nose to Tail. This is over one increasingly frantic day and night. A talented but abrasive chef struggles with personal demons and the pressures of running a high-end restaurant. Yeah, I'd pass on that. Legacy of Lies comes out. That's a Scott Adkins vehicle.
Okay.
And then on the 29th, we have Gordon Lightfoot. If you could read my mind, it's a little Gordon Lightfoot doc there.
Oh, about time.
Yeah, I know you're excited for that one, Kevin.
Oh yeah.
I know you're a big Lightfoot head.
Oh my goodness, you have no idea.
I celebrate his entire catalog. We have Shine Your Eyes. That's on Netflix. And we have Summerland. This is on the 31st. This is starring Gemma Arterton. Got The Big Ugly, starring Vinnie Jones. Bit of an action movie, crime thriller. Vinnie Jones. And then we have Tijuana Jackson, Purpose Over Prison. I'm actually kind of interested in this. I watched the trailer for this, and I thought it looked pretty funny.
Okay.
It stars Romani Malco and Regina Hall. All right, on Blu-ray this week, we have 13 Ghosts from 2001 coming out. We got The Tenant from 1976, Graveyard Shift from 1990. That might be worth a look. Apocalypto from 2006. Remember that? Apocalypto?
Vaguely.
Remember there was it was the talk of the town there for a minute.
Oh yeah.
Remember, because it was in like
Oh yeah.
it was
So
like in a
the
different
Mel Gibson.
language. Yeah, it was the Mel Gibson directed one, and the whole thing was in like a different language and big deal.
Huh. Yeah.
We have Best Friends from 1975. Is this a Vinegar Syndrome? Looks like it. Yeah, that's a Vinegar Syndrome. She became the ravaged victim of a century of revenge. There you go.
Hmm.
Let's see. Old Dracula from 1975. That's also Vinegar Syndrome. Demonia from 1990. 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea from 1916. We have The River from 1984. Lorenzo's Oil from 1992. Against All Flags from 1952. Looks like Wonder Woman is getting a new 4K release. The Public Eye from 1992, starring Joe Pesci.
Ooh.
I never even heard of this movie. I have to see it.
Deep cut.
I have to see it. The Other Lamb from earlier this year. Gundala from last year, I believe. This is from the guy. It's the guy who did a bunch of Joko Anwar. That's who I'm thinking of. The guy who did Satan's Slaves, and he had a movie called Impetigore, which is on Shudder, that was recently released on Shudder. And I've been meaning to. I added that to my list. I've been meaning to check that out.
We'll get to it.
I know, just not enough hours in the day. The Bucks County Massacre.
The what?
The Bucks County Massacre from 2010.
2010, huh?
Yep. It says a group of friends get together for a 25th birthday party at a remote house in Bucks County, Pennsylvania. After someone goes missing and the police search the premises to no avail, the remaining party goers are left to wait until morning. But guess what? Something tells me they're going to get killed.
They are.
One by one.
The tagline is The Blair Witch meets paranormal activity at Cloverfield.
Oh, God. Come on, PA. You can do better.
I like that the plot keywords are Pennsylvania, number 1, and then number 2, throat ripping.
Ooh.
Found footage mockumentary, apparently.
So it's a comedy then?
I don't know. It's action horror thriller.
All right.
It doesn't have comedy in there, but I wonder if it is a mockumentary or if someone just slapped that on there.
Yeah, I don't know. All right, any criterions this week?
I don't think so.
I don't see any on the list. So I don't think so. All right, that'll do it for this week. Thank you so much for listening. You can send your questions and topics to podcast@filmpulse.net, and you can follow us on Twitter @filmpulsenet and @filmpulsekevin. And if you have a minute, consider giving us a review on iTunes. We'd appreciate that very much. For Kevin Rakestraw, my name's Adam Patterson. We'll see you next week.